All right, let's see how this goes. We got a Yoshi with us here traveling. Lyric gave me this figure for Father's Day, so I decided he would accompany me throughout the trek. And the first stop, even before this picture, was Wendy's. We always eat Wendy's at the Houston airport before flying out, and that's how this one got off the ground, pun intended. I flew to Buffalo, where I landed, took an Uber to the border, and then walked across at the Peace Bridge. Had a very nice view, although I found out later it's mostly just for commercial trucks. You can see a bunch of neat things there, including these flags and a nice view of the border. So I did that thing where you stand on either side. And then, of course, Yoshi had to get his picture in there, too. In Canadaland, they sell ketchup chips right there on the shelf. I brought back 3 different brands so I can have my own little taste test later. That evening, we did different things, including meet up with this handsome fellow, Ryan, who's an amazing guitarist. Got to rock out, play some guitar for a bit, and even some drums, and just kind of cut loose for a while. The next day was the big day. Started out eating outside, because in Canada you can eat outside without melting. I had a lovely Star Wars mug, and Yoshi accompanied me for homemade pancakes and sausage. Did I mention this was outside? We then headed on down to Niagara, which to my untrained eyes reminded me a fair bit of the Riverwalk in San Antonio. They had a bunch of cool buildings, including the obligatory Ripley's Believe It or Not, and a Dairy Queen, and of course, a Rainforest Cafe, which I had to stop by for my daughter and just kind of show off a bit. Then we hit the falls, and I gotta say, it was amazing. I have seen these in textbooks and all kinds of places, but this was the first time to sit there and stare, and it's just breathtaking. It was, words fail me now.
Did you ever drive down there in park?
Like when I was the Niagara one, or maybe both? All the time.
Fortunately, Josh, who I was staying with, used to work for the Maid of the Mist, and he was able to give us plenty of inside scoops and tips and, I don't know, observances from his time there working. It was incredible. Like any diehard Rush fan, I knew I had to see the sights, and the main one for me was Lakeside Park, of which Neil Peart in the song the same name. We saw willows in the breeze. We got to see the new pavilion for him. There is a commissioned statue. It's not up yet. We got to look around at the other parts they had there, including the amazing beachfront, and I pocketed a couple of my own stones to bring back. Ryan gave me this amazing Rush bracelet, which I ended up wearing pretty much everywhere. After that, we made a stop along the way for ice cream at, I think this was Avondale, and they have a dairy farm on the premises, which is amazing. They make their own stuff right there, and it was divine. That night we met up with some other incredible people from the League of Adult Gamers on Discord, and I joked that they all came in just to see my mug, but of course they were there for celebrating. But it was really neat to get to put some faces to names and get to just chat with all these fine folks. Okay, second leg of the adventure, meeting Bobby Thumbs, aka Jolly Good Bob. His real name I think is Sean. But this is a guy I've known online for probably 12 years, and I've gamed with him for a long time, but until this trip had never seen him face to face. So naturally, we had to go to Tim Hortons and grab us some Timmies. And then Bobby took me around the wonderful town of London, Ontario. Right, and now Bobby's going to walk in front to make sure that nothing happens.
Speak to the geese.
We're just passing through, eh?
It's like Canadian crocodile hunter.
Right.
That guy.
Yeah. And now into the big city. The next day, Bobby drove me all the way into Toronto, checked in at the Airbnb, which I'll show you momentarily. And then we jumped on the express train and headed downtown and just roamed around. It was unreal. If you've talked with me for more than a few minutes in real life, you know I'm obsessed with finding and moving to a walkable city, preferably something in Europe. But this one here was just amazing. Sitting down at this table, looking out past where those people are sitting, you'll see walkers. There's also bikers and rollerbladers. And then there's a tram, and then there was a street. It was everything I wanted it to be. So this is a quick clip of that, and I am really hoping at some point I get to live in a place just like this. I found a good Airbnb. Kayla helped me online, and she knew the area, and we found one that was walkable distance to the train station. So I had one little room in the back, had access to all their stuff, had a neat looking little bed and desk area. Only downside was no fans, and they barely had the AC on, so I mostly just laid on top of all the sheets and stuff at night. But that said, it was really great, and it was a lot of fun to have that one. I got to sleep in Sunday, took the train back in, and then just roamed around. Yoshi and I visited the CN Tower, but just on the outside. I mostly just really watched everybody roaming around. It was so fun just to partake of the views. Had a fun little park there. Again, I would envision myself living in a building, one of these high rises. Doing what? I don't know. So hopefully one of my daughters is rich enough to pay me or pay for us. But I don't know what else I could have done for that. But it was really fun to watch these. Then it was time to get to Scotiabank Arena and wait for everybody to show up. Really good people watching. So many wrestling fans were around there. Had great seats, way up high at the very, very top of the venue. I could touch the wall behind me. Then it got out around midnight, and there was no trains, and the buses were already gone. So I just paid a lot for an Uber. Got back, took a shower, got into bed around 1, woke up around 4, got an Uber back to the airport, and bugged on out for hot, humid, always nasty Houston.